welcome to another cooking class with us. We are so excited. So this is one of my favorite recipes that I love to do. Number one, it's healthy. Number two, it's bursting with flavors. And number three, you don't feel like you're being deprived at all when it comes to this dish because it's super rich and it's super satisfying. And you feel like you're getting a little bit of an upper in terms of a classic burger. So you're just taking it up one notch instead of a normal burger. So what I'm going to show you today is I am taking it down with using just 1 pound of meat, ground meat. I am choosing to do 1 pound of ground turkey, lean ground turkey, but there's a lot of people that like to use ground chicken, or you can also use really lean ground beef. That'll work as well. And you know, if you love those Greek flavors, a lot of your gyro meat, it's a lamb, and it can have some pork in there too, so it's kind of the red meat as well. You guys just find a lean meat or drain as much fat off as you can of the meats that you're choosing to use for this recipe and for those burgers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to prep our burger, and then while our burgers are cooking, we're going to make our skinny tzatziki sauce, which is amazing, and I'm so excited. It's one of my favorite healthier ways to have a little dip on the side. It's great for veggie dipping too. So let's just go from top to bottom. We'll do our full checklist of the ingredients that we need, and then also I'm going to share with you any modifications that you may not have. Because again, don't always feel like you can't make something just because you may not have something. Just push forward. It's going to be amazing regardless. So going through our ingredients, you need 1 pound of ground meat. You need a half a cup of spinach leaves, which we will chop together. You need a third of a cup of sun-dried tomatoes that are chopped. Now, I did not have sun-dried tomatoes, and like the average person, I don't have time to just run to the store to get one ingredient. But I did have one little Roma tomato, so I will chop him up and he'll be a great little third addition, that tomato. A fourth of a cup of onion, we'll chop them up, or you can have them already chopped up. A fourth of a cup of feta cheese. This is the feta cheese that I found. I went to Gerb's and they did not have fat-free feta cheese in stock. But other than that, it's always great to use those fat-free versions in recipes because they're there to just give a little boost. You're not getting the full effect of feta, if that makes sense. So the fat-free would be great if you had it. And then 2 cloves of garlic, minced, or like most of us, we just get the minced garlic in the jar. We'll do 2 tablespoons to equal our 2 cloves. 1 egg. Good. All right. Next thing is our olive oil. Make sure you got some olive oil. You need dried oregano seasoning, or you can use Italian seasoning. And if you don't even have that, just get you some parsley. It just needs a little bit of that earthy flavor to it. You're going to need salt, of course, lots of salt, pepper, and then you can slice and top it with lettuce, or you can top it with some tomatoes yourselves. And here we're sharing that you can use low carb or a whole grain bun if you're choosing to do that. Or me personally, I love to make a big Greek salad, add more spinach and more tomatoes, and I just plop all that delicious tzatziki sauce instead of having that bun. But if you want a bun, go for it, babe. Because we're learning to have balance, and we're also learning to have great nutrition. And this burger, even if you used a bun, would be about 400 calories. And when you have an amazing dinner that has all the things, it needs to be 400 to 600 calories, okay? All right, so those are the ingredients that you need for your burgers. Now let's go through our tzatziki sauce. You need a half a cucumber. Now I have a whole one here. We're gonna cut it in half. We're gonna peel off the excess skin. We're gonna chop it up. Then we're gonna do 3/4 cup of low-fat Greek yogurt. And I shared in the last cooking video that I love to, we're going to be using a blender to whip up our tzatziki all together. And I love to use my little isogenic shaker blender to do that. So I have a big tub of low-fat or non-fat plain Greek yogurt, and I measured it out in my cup already. So you need to have your Greek yogurt. Again, 2 cloves of garlic or minced garlic. 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, mine's in the fridge, a pinch of kosher salt, and fresh ground pepper. And I will share this, that if you don't have a little bit of vinegar, it just needs a little acidity to it. So even if you have lime juice or lemon juice, you can put a splash of that in there too. All right, guys, let's get cooking. So the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to chop up these ingredients that's asking us to chop up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get out my mixing bowl for sure. Set my other ingredients to the side, make some room. I just wanted to take you guys through all of it. And we are going to chop up our spinach. All right, so I have a lot of people that ask, just basic cooking and kitchen questions. So when it comes to chopping up your spinach, what I love to do is I love to get it all in just the tightest little ball that I can. And when you are cutting your vegetables, you want to always have your fingertips down, so that you never cut your fingertips, okay? So you should always just have that nail. So anytime if you get too close to your fingers, it'll just hit your nail. So we're going to go ahead, chop up our spinach as fine as you can. Chop, chop, chop. And if you guys are tuning in live and if you have questions, please feel free to unmute yourself. So I just chopped it one way. Now I'm going to chop it the other way, getting it in as little of a ball as I can. And tuck my fingers under and chop, chop, chop. What a sneaky, sneaky way to get spinach into your burgers. Good. Now, if you see any other big leaves that are, rolling around on your thing, chop those little guys up. Other than that, you should have an awesome half cup of chopped spinach. And you know what? You don't even need to measure it because the more spinach, the merrier, right? It's got iron, it's got fiber. It's great for the body. All right, now the next thing we're going to chop up is our tomato. So if you guys have your sun-dried tomatoes, let's go ahead and chop those up. I'm using a Roma tomato that I had in my fridge, so I'm just going to go ahead and chop him up. I'm going to dice him up really good is what I'm going to do. Other than that, your little dried tomatoes, they may look like they're little slithers or little balls. Go ahead and just chop those up. I should have sharpened my knife before I went on here and did this. Hopefully you guys have some dinner music on in the background, or at least something to keep you occupied instead of just hearing the breathing. All right, so I'm chopping up my tomatoes. Perfect. Now, once our tomatoes and spinach is all chopped up, if you have garlic cloves that you need to mince, you're going to go ahead and mince those garlic cloves. If not, you're going to need to get a tablespoon measurer out if you have minced garlic like I do. And we're going to have to measure out our 2 tablespoons of garlic. Good. My skins are a little tough for me on here, and my knife's not sharp enough, so this is taking me a little bit longer. Good. I'm almost done. Then I will have my tomatoes and my spinach all chopped up. If you need to, go ahead, get started on getting your garlic prepared. Okay, so here we go. We got our spinach, we have our tomatoes. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to measure out 2 tablespoons of garlic. 2 tablespoons of garlic. And what I want you to do is just plop those 2 tablespoons right on top of those tomatoes. Set it aside here. It's like we're seasoning them separate. Now, we're going to add a little bit of salt to our tomatoes and our garlic. That's going to soak up some of the moisture, bring out some of the flavor, add a little dash of salt. Perfect. All right, and now what we're going to do is get our onion together, okay? So if you guys don't have your minced onions already, you are going to need to mince up 1/4 of a cup of onion, okay? Get you some together, and I already have mine minced, so I'm ahead of the game there. Go ahead, chop up your onion 1/4 of a cup, and I have a 1/4 of a cup mixture here myself. And like I shared, I'm gonna plop it on top of my other mixture. Oh, the deliciousness. Perfect. All right, chopped up, should be all chopped up together, is we have our spinach, we have our tomatoes, we have our garlic, and we have our onions. So the garlic should be minced, everything else should be chopped. All right, now the first thing we're gonna do before we add this onto the bowl is we've got to whisk our egg. Okay, so go ahead, crack that egg into that bowl. And go ahead and get you a fork or a whisking tool. I'm going to use a fork because I'm going to use it just to whip everything else together. So one egg, scramble that baby up in his individual bowl. Perfect. Once he is all scrambled, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our ground meat. So with this step, let's go ahead and turn our skillet on. It needs to be on a medium heat. And go ahead, whether your meat is in a tube or it's in a container, we'll go ahead and add that meat to the egg and then stir the egg and the meat up together. So go ahead and open up our ingredients here. Now your hands may get a little dirty. Always try to wash those hands. I washed my hands before coming on here. All right. So I'm going to add my ground meat to my egg. All right, throw that baby in the trash. Wash my hands. I got some lovely juice on there. Good, fantastic. All right, now go ahead, mix the meat and the egg together. Ground turkey is a little bit different because it's not as stringy as ground beef will, so give yourself some time and be patient as you're working with it. Especially if it comes in a tube. Mix together the best that you can, the egg and the ground meat. You know what? And if all else fails, just get those hands in there like our grandmamas did. So mix together the meat and the egg. Good. All right. Perfect. All right, guys. Next thing we are going to do is add in our 4th cup of feta. Go ahead and measure out your feta. We have need a 4th cup of that. Once you get your meat and your egg all whipped up together, we need to add a 4th of a cup of feta. And feta is my absolute favorite cheese. It's just got a lot of flavor to it. I'll do the best I can in measuring it out. All right, 4th of a cup into our meat mixture. All right, like I said, we put things away. Oh, we're gonna need that feta. What am I talking about? Keep that feta out. Okay, so we have our meat, our eggs, and our feta. Whip that together. Evenly distribute. Perfect. All right, guys, it's the magical moment. We are going to now add our mixtures of our chops. So we got our vegetables. We're going to add it to our meat now. So go ahead, carefully add your ingredients together. Perfect. All right, and I'm going to rinse off my cutting board. Perfect. Rinse off my knife. All right, now before we start putting things all together, we need to add in our oregano, and then we need to add a dash of pepper. Okay, so add in our oregano. And then add in our pepper. And I love pepper, so I always put more than one it's asking for. The amount that you need, if you're asking 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, and then it says a half a teaspoon of ground pepper, and I'm doing 1 teaspoon. I like my burgers peppery anyway. All right, now all that deliciousness in one bowl, let's stir it all together. You should have a beautiful mixture of all types of colors. Amazing. Get it all nice and even. Gosh, you can only imagine how this is going to taste. It's going to be so good. All right, guys. Now, once it's all mixed up, we are ready to start putting these in our skillet. So in your skillet, which should be awesome and warm at this point, we're going to head and spray some of our nonstick spray in there. Or if you want to use your 1 tablespoon of olive oil, you can as well. That's what I just realized what that amazing olive oil is for. I need some ham. And I'm almost out, so I may need that olive oil. Okay, so many have asked, how many burgers should I do from a pound? Genuinely, when it comes to any burger size, even when you go to a restaurant, okay, a 1/4 pounder, that's a 1/4 of a pound burger. Now, the reason why I say 1/4 pound is because you don't need to do a 1/2 pound, you need to do a full pound. And especially if you're going to be having other ingredients with it, other side dishes, you don't want to overdo it too much on that aspect of it. So you guys see this. These are obviously 1 pound of meat, but we also added other ingredients in there. So this would be considered a 1/4 pounder burger, but even though it has all the other ingredients, it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do with this in mind, we're just going to divide it into fourths. We're going to make 4 patties out of this mixture. So you can do it with a knife or just eyeball it with yourself. What you're going to do, you're going to grab a 1/4 of that mixture, make it into a patty. I'm going to get me a spoon out to help me with this process. All right, all right. Okay, I roll it into the ball. Here it is. And I am going to lay it down in my pan and flatten it, or you can flatten it in your palms. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It looks amazing already. All right, so let's get all 4 of these patties in our pan. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. These will definitely fill you up as well. They're big burgers. That's why I don't like to put them on a bun. I like to make them for my salad, like a Greek salad. I think I made my patties too small, so I'm getting a 5th one out of this. You go ahead and make it out of 4. Good. All right, guys. I have my patties in the skillet. Now, While they are cooking, it's time to make our delicious tzatziki sauce. So go ahead, wash your hands. Since you just had them all in some ground beef or ground meat of your choice. They smell so good, guys. I can't get over it. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to switch over into our tzatziki sauce. Okay, so here we go. First things first with our tzatziki is we need to get our half cucumber cut and sliced. So I have my peeler. Somewhere in one of my drawers, right? There she is. All right, so I'm gonna actually enjoy eating the rest of this cucumber on my salad. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the whole thing. Peel him up. Some cucumbers obviously could be bigger than others. Some people even love the little bite size. So if I had to round this out into measurement wise, you would want a cup. Okay. He's all peeled. Throw my peelers in the garbage disposal. All right, now I'm going to cut off my ends. And then I'm going to cut it in half. Now, this is very important. Very, very, very important. Before we go any further, we do not want seeds in our tzatziki, okay? So you'll get a little snack. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut down the side of that cucumber to avoid getting any seeds in your tzatziki. Of course, if you get a little, it's not that big of a deal. But you want to cut around the edges to avoid having seeds in your tzatziki. And just like that, you can have a little snack on the inside of our cucumber. Now, what we're going to do, we are going to chop up this cucumber. Make him almost as if you're going to mince him. So I have mine in little slivers. I'm putting them together almost like as if they're celery stalks. And I'm going to, again, tuck my fingers over and I'm going to chop it up. I can hear those burgers sizzling. Oh my gosh. Fabulous. Okay, now I'm going to go through one more time. If I had a bigger knife, I would go. I don't want to dirty up any more dishes. Who does? Okay, chopped them up just a little bit finer. All right, now what we're going to do is you're going to get out your Greek yogurt. Now, if you do not have your Greek yogurt measured out, you are going to need 3/4 cup of Greek yogurt. And I want you to put that Greek yogurt in a blender. Okay, like I shared, mine is already in my little shaker bottle. It is ready to rock and roll for blending. It's so funny how I love to use my ice chunks no replacement shake blender for cooking. So I love to use him because it's just easy and it's easy to clean. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add, once you get your 3/4 cup of Greek yogurt into that blender, you're going to add those cucumbers to it as well. So once I have that, add those cucumbers. Good. All right, while we're at it, while we're here, let's check our burgers. You're going to go ahead, get you a spatula. Check on and see how they're doing. Mine are doing swell. I just need them to continue to cook as they are. Don't want to mess them up too much. There's a lot of goodies in there. We don't want it to fall apart. All right, those are looking fantastic. Okay, so next we're going to do, we have our 2 cloves of garlic or your 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. And you're gonna add that into that mixture to be blended, okay? Good, we got our garlic. Now, the next thing we're gonna need to add to our tzatziki sauce is some fresh dill. And you guys, I forgot to tell you about the dill. Oh, I forgot to tell you in the beginning of our show here. So if you do not have fresh dill, I always keep some dried dill in there. And I use this dill many ways, okay? This is a great way to get like that ranch flavor. So if you always want to just do anything and have like that ranch kick, plain Greek yogurt, or even if you had low fat or fat-free cottage cheese, add a little salt and a little dill in there. It's a great replacement for ranch. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 tablespoon of fresh dill, or I'm going to do a half a tablespoon of dried dill, okay? And I'm pretty good at eyeballing, so. All right, so I got my dill in there. If you guys wanna see, this is my mixture so far. We have our dill. Then the next thing we're gonna do is 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar. So mine is in the refrigerator. If you guys do not have red wine vinegar, you can use lime juice, or you can use lemon juice. All right. I can't find my juice. It's probably in the back of the fridge, and I don't want to waste your time. So I'm going to do 1 tablespoon. If I can get it undone. 1 tablespoon of fresh lime juice or lemon juice, and just that acidity helps to kick things up just a little bit. All right, so 1 tablespoon. All right, and last but not least is to add our kosher salt and our pepper. So I'm gonna go ahead, again, I like my pepper. It doesn't give direction on how much, so if you wanna just add a little and then make it to your taste accordingly, you can. I like to add a bunch of salt as well. I think that that's what gives Greek flavor its thing. A lot of people have questions about salt. And my biggest thing is that if you're an active individual, salt is extremely important because it's an electrolyte. Other than that, if your doctor recommends that you live a low sodium lifestyle, then you definitely adjust your taste to less salt. So you see, I have all my stuff here in my little shaker. Now, it may take me longer to blend my shaker up because if you have an amazing blender, it may not take so long. If you need to whip it up just a little bit before you start blending, you feel free to do so. Other than that, you guys are about to hear my blender go to work. Let's blend up our tzatziki. Fabulous. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, guys, and last but not least, one of my favorite things to add to the tzatziki, this is always optional. Look how creamy and delicious this is. Oh my gosh. We are going to add a little tablespoon of some feta to it, just to give it a little more of that Greek flavor. Add yourself a tablespoon, and then use it to stir it in there. And then, oh my gosh, you ready to try it? Take me to heaven. Oh my gosh. So you determine accordingly, do you need more salt? Do you need more pepper? Now, what I love to do with this is I definitely put it back into the fridge, okay? Back into the fridge it goes. And let's check up on our burgers. It is time for me to flip my burger. Here we go. Now remember, because I just had one burger kind of fall apart, I may have not squished it too much together, but you can fix it in the pan. Don't you worry. All is not lost. our burgers are cooking. All right, guys, we essentially are already done. We just got to wait for our burgers to get finished. So how easy was that? Quick and easy dinner. We did all this in less than 30 minutes, even with all of my talking and explaining. So right now, what we whipped up was we whipped up our ground turkey Greek burger. Again, you can use different meats. We made our homemade tzatziki sauce. So personally, for me, I can whip this up, make my salad, put a couple more sliced tomatoes, sliced cucumbers on there, use tzatziki the tzatziki sauce as my dressing. That 3/4 cup of whole tzatziki probably is maybe 100 to 150 calories, which only 2 tablespoons of ranch dressing is 100 to 150 calories. So that's what makes the skinny tzatziki so powerful. So I can make an amazing Greek salad with my burger for under 600 calories, and I will be stuffed. I will be stuffed. Now, it would actually be around 500 calories. So you could do that, or you can get yourself a whole wheat bun. You can make you a burger out of that. You can even make you a little side of cucumbers to dip into the extra tzatziki. You can make you a little side Greek salad. You can even make you a couple sweet potato fries if you want to, or some zucchini fries, something like that. So I always share with you guys to balance out your carbohydrates. Are you going to have the bun, or are you going to have the fries? So always keep that in mind, especially if you're on a weight loss journey. You can always do half a bun as well and half a portion of fries. Always know that it's up for you to track and for you to just be really conscious about the choices that you're choosing to make. So with all that being said, if you guys have any questions in terms of recipes and modifications, I'm so excited to be cooking with you and just to share with you how simple and delicious meals can be. And I know that it's going to take probably about 15 more minutes for these burgers to be fully cooked. So you guys go ahead, enjoy the cooking experience. If you're with your family or with your friends, set a timer for 15 more minutes, go watch the show, take a break, maybe do a little laundry if you need to, because you can get it all done. You just have to schedule it. Thank you so much, guys, again, for tuning in and for cooking with me this evening. And I will see you next time. Bye.